example, the dexPAD, which will allow us to, bring new tokens to market. Will be It'll be a prerequisite in order to participate in those events. Will be to have ownership in dexIRA, right? So following those same lines, those same guidelines of, we're really looking for long-term investors, people that aren't really looking for the quick pump and dump strategy. And we've heard you guys. We've had people asking for this, and I think people are really happy to finally be involved in a project or projects that they don't have to worry about getting the rug pulled from them. And that's an important thing these days. So with that said, as I mentioned, in order to participate in the dexPAD launches, the first one, of course, will be the new dexDAO token. Again, you'll have to hold a certain amount of dex, right? So one, that's going to create more buy pressure, right? So when we run this big ad on Dex Tools and all further marketing, right? In order to participate in the dexPAD launches, you'll need to own a certain portion of Dex, right? Of dexIRA. The question did come up earlier that how much Dex will we have to have? The answer to that is we're still formulating that model, right? For this first one, we're definitely going to give everyone who's a current holder an opportunity to get in to the new token. However, it will be tiered, so the more Dex you have, the lower rates you'll be able to get in. The earlier you'll be able to get into these pre-sales. And also part of that will be locking a portion of those tokens, right? So not only are we going to create buy pressure on dexIRA by having to own these, own the token to get involved with the launches, you'll also stabilize that floor by requiring a certain lockup period for those tokens. So that just creates strength in the market and a good solid price floor. Which we already have an amazing floor already. You can see that in our whale watching report. Every daily or weekly. People behind this project are in it. No one's selling because they all know that the future is bright. So to further that discussion, a little bit about the dexDAO that we're launching. This is going to be something big for everyone, I think. Obviously, one, you'll have the opportunity to get in at a cheaper price level on the pre-sale than everyone by owning dexIRA. Also, the dexDAO token will immediately be listed on the dashboard as rewards, so you'll be able to claim you'll be able to automatically claim dexIRA rewards in the dexDAO token. And just as a token on it by itself, these have become really popular lately with OHM and some of the ones on Phantom and such. But essentially, it's a protocol-driven, algorithmic reserve currency, and this is going to be backed by other stablecoins. So again, it's going to create a strong price floor, and it's going to give some really unique opportunities for early investors for staking and bonding and really high yields.
Definitely the sort of project where those who are getting in due to the fast track through dexPAD are really going to benefit, absolutely, as the true early birds. And that's something that we want to emphasize as adding utility to the DEX token, is that all projects that launch on the dexPAD launchpad will be fast-tracked into the dexIRA system, and we'll be working with them, right? It's not going to be kind of a public, anyone can sign up and raise money for their project. It's going to be working with the dexIRA team in order to kind of incubate and launch their project.
Absolutely. One other important aspect of the dexDAO is the DAO functionality, right? So this is kind of going to be like one coin to rule them all, right? So essentially, the dexDAO will be backed by a treasury, right? This is what creates the price floor, and will hold all the assets of the DAO. Now, the treasury will ultimately be used to further development, marketing, etc. of the dexIRA brand as a whole. And what this DAO does offers investors and the whole community is a chance to participate in how those funds will be used, right? So if you're not familiar with the DAO process, essentially there's a voting system where we'll be able to propose specific questions and things like that, directions for where the company, where the products are going, and you'll be able to link up to a dashboard with your wallet and cast your vote essentially. So all these things kind of tied in together are going to make for a really strong overall brand. And as Jade had said there, it was it really speaks to the use case, and real world applications of some of these things. So I guess that's kind of it in a nutshell. I guess let's open it up for some questions if anyone's got any.
Yeah, let's do it.
We're doing this. We gotta. Anyone can just pop in, right?
I got a quick question.
Sure.
So, I think I heard you say that you can get rewards and other tokens with dexDAO. Does that mean that the rebates we get from the APY that could go into a different token? Did I hear that right?
So the initial plan is to offer the dexDAO token as a reward currency for dexIRA. So essentially, you'll be receiving more dexDAO for owning your dexIRA if you'd like.
All right, gotcha. If
that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah.
We do have some interesting ideas that we're still kind of working out. That I don't want to go too far into, but a multi-currency reward option for the DAO is definitely something we've been looking into as well. Yeah.
Yeah, and I just want to point out, really that someone was saying earlier in the chat, that they were down since they had bought off of our recent trend on CoinMarketCap and CoinGecko, and they were wondering, oh, is it too late? Am I going to recoup my investment or whatever? They're forced to hold, they were saying, because of the 30% withdrawal fee, right? I just want to emphasize that, like we were saying before, leading up to us getting listed on CoinMarketCap and CoinGecko and setting that new price floor, we're still so early in the dexIRA platform in terms of its longevity. Even just the base tokenomics of the dexIRA token, the main benefits, the withdrawal wave, the waived withdrawal fee doesn't even come in until a year in, right? We're looking to add more products to the family, as you've seen, that help enrich that DEX token use case, the native use case, but also kind of promote the same concept. So with this dexDAO, it's going to be a similar concept where the people who are going to benefit the most for sure are going to be those who will collect their dexDAO, stake it, and let it sit long term. Because every token is going to be backed by a number of decentralized assets, it's going to have a price floor inherent to it that it cannot drop below. And so because of staking and reinvesting your dexDAO that you'll gain back into dexDAO, compounding interest is going to dictate that on a long enough time scale, you should recoup your initial investment. So again, just emphasizing that if the name of the game is investing for long-term, investing for retirement in your future, then we're adding products that are really going to benefit in that regard and expedite that process, right? Let's get a retirement.
Yeah, it's also worth noting too that part of the whole strategy here with the pad and the DAO, we're also going to be trying to incorporate similar aspects to the long-term hold play, right? We won't be forcing any 30% tax, anything to that of that nature. But there's a good chance we maybe will require like 30% to be locked for a certain amount of time, right? In terms of the dexPAD, right? Part of our jobs as creators of a launchpad is to ensure the safety of tokens that we're bringing out, right? So we'll enforce other tokens that want to launch with us, to follow those same guidelines as well. Any other questions in the group here? No?
I got a question. Any thoughts on creating a referral program to help with outreach and marketing in the future?
Yeah, we have actually looked into some of that. Definitely could be an aspect of the dexPAD for sure. I know there's like Telegram bots and stuff like that. I've always been personally interested in some of the more IDO type referral programs, which we're actually, like I said, when you launch a token, if you just do a pre-sale on like dexSale or Bounce or something like that, right? You're really limited to what you can do. With the dexPAD, we're basically going to be in control of everything that happens, right? So we'll have for the dexDAO, for example, we'll have maybe a month-long period where we're raising funds, right? And different tiered levels for dexIRA holders will come into play, and also it's much easier to track those referrals through tracking links that we can monitor and control. So yeah, that's definitely in the cards.
Yeah, we're always considering ways that we can boost exposure for sure.
Absolutely.
Oh, nice. Thanks. Yeah, multi-currency reward kind of sounds interesting because picking one currency myself takes a long time to kind of research a project and try to figure out what to invest in. But if there was the ability to kind of spread my rewards over a few or a basket, almost like a mutual fund or a ETF, it makes it a little easier for an investor to kind of spread those things around without having to change something. So definitely it sounds promising.
Yeah, we don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves in that regard, because we as developers we love those kind of challenges. We're not trying to just do the copy and paste thing. We're looking to do take ideas and make them better, if anything. And with part of the reason for launching the DAO token is that there's a lot of flexibility in what we can do with the treasury, right? That treasury can then fund not only development and marketing, but we can have a reward pool set up where we're rewarding 1 year plus dexIRA holders with wrapped versions of multi-currency tokens and things like that. So these are definitely things that are on our radar, and yeah, we're trying to push the envelope there. Any other community questions, comments? Love to hear from you guys.
Nope.
First of all, glad to be here. Just want to know if you have some, I don't know, competition, because if you got the advertisement on dexTools, I think we should have more living community, you know. So maybe shilling competition or meme competition. I don't know, but it can be good for the Telegram group.
Yeah, of course. We've done several types of those things in the past. I'm always surprised actually with like we have 4,000 plus holders, right? 3,200 members in the Telegram, and sometimes we're not the Telegram is not as active as a typical chat, but that almost speaks to the types of investors that we have. A lot of our investors, you'll see them pop in from time to time, but it's not all the hype. Like we're like people have to be in the chat every day to get things going. People are real confident with the long-term development, and if it's a coin you're going to hold for for a year or more, we're okay with people just checking in on occasion. That being said, though, obviously, during the initial launch, and with the listing on CoinMarketCap and such, obviously we had big spikes of activity, right? So yeah, of course, leading up, the dexTools ad is kind of just it's a big marketing buy, and it's that's the big show, right? But leading up to that, we're going to have a whole nother budget for smaller campaigns and shillers and all that good stuff as well, and make sure that we're looking good on all aspects. Also, I guess to further that, it reminds me we're in addition to just the banner and marketing and these other tokens, part of the lead time in this is going to be full audits by like we're talking to Certec right now, right? When they're like they're the industry leader. So we plan to get that done before we even launch this next one. So getting the Certec audit on the banner, those kinds of things is going to be big, I think, for the community as a whole.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Of course. Thanks for your question.
That's awesome.
Anyone else have any thoughts?
Yeah, I can speak on this for a second. I think that we'd like to add from the development team to, it is great to have, big pumps and to be able to get listed very quickly, especially having relationships now directly with Binance Wallet and all the different people that will need to do some of these things, as well as Certic. Moving forward, though, we really want to push the boundaries here, guys. It's not just like the tokenomics are obviously extremely unique, and a lot of people, aped in as soon as we got listed, and we want to push those boundaries with DAOs, staking, everything. We're not against trying to build things that just haven't been done before, so that we can, to do giveaways and such is great, and we will continue to do them, especially tertiary campaigns that go along with the dexTool ads. But we just want to make sure that the products at the end of the day are just things that don't exist in the DeFi space yet, and that we're really pushing the limits here, because we're trying to build things that don't exist, that really challenge standard financial instruments. We want to push the boundaries here and really build something great for our people. We're here with you guys.
Yeah, to follow up on that, actually, I just had a call with a buddy of mine who we traded together on the Chicago Board of Trade a long time ago, and he recently heard about the token, and he said he's talking to his friends, and just overwhelming response from people, like from retail investors, right? That are all trying to get in on this next one, right? it's pretty cool. It's pretty great that like, you know, our demographic isn't the typical, meme coin type of token, right? Just on CNBC today, they're saying that, basically that retail investors are really getting pressured now to get into the game, to get in crypto, and the barrier to entry is tough if you don't know what you're doing, right? So we feel like we have the perfect opportunity to kind of bridge that gap.
Was there any potential for patent development if you're doing something new, and then if other coins come along, and potentially some of those royalties that might be owed could be paid for and bought in a new token that you're developing, or just something to think about?
Yeah, I like where your head's at. It's kind of a two-part answer. In general, it's tough to patent anything blockchain based in regards to, like, that's the heart of blockchain, right? As soon as you push your code live, right? We push the contract live. It's open source, right? So realistically, anyone can use what you've developed, right? And we've already seen that, right? Where there's been other tokens to try to do similar things, and most of them have already failed, if not on the way down. But I guess on a brighter note, though, you can not patent, but you can trademark things, right? So we've already kind of begun the process of trademarking the dexIRA brand, and we'll continue down that road with the dexDAO and dexPAD. That way, at least if someone tries to, completely copy us or, use exact frameworks and such, we'll have a leg up on that.
Yeah, and to continue on that as well, the launch procedure for the DEX contract right now is actually fairly complex. To not have any buy taxes and to have automatic dividend rewards and things, we're not using this is in-house stuff. So not only is the deployment procedure unique here, so it's harder to copy, but the actual DApps, like for example the rewards dashboards, as well as the DAOs and the launch pads that we're working on, that is closed source. It's not going to require like IP necessarily and trademarks. It's just not available to the public. They're not going to be able, even if somebody were to attempt to make tokens with zero buys and only sells and add DAOs and stuff, they would not have access to the full code base. We haven't fully open sourced all of the reward dashboards and stuff because we have something unique there. And the fact that it is locked into the web servers and stuff, it does mean that there's a layer of protection as well for the token and the intellectual property behind it.
Good question, though. We actually come from a media and marketing background, right? So like all these kinds of things are right up our alley, right? Like, when we first started this, we actually had, we were saying, oh man, this whole industry is perfect for us because we're already doing it basically in the real world. So these are all things definitely on our list, and the bigger we grow and the more products we're able to provide, the more we're going to reach out and get things more legit.
To expand on that, we're not just going to run airdrops and competitions and things. Like at the end of the day, if our community comes to us and says, hey, here's a feature that we want in our DAO, we're going to be able to actually do that versus just copying things. We have some, all our software is unique here. And to expand on that, questions come in like, hey, is there a possibility to do like a basket of rewards, you know, to diversify my portfolio? The answer is yes. You know, we absolutely can do these things. I think, you know, some of the nuances need to be worked out. Like, for example, would you like a basket of like mid market cap, low market cap? Like there's some things that would need to be defined, and we'll be the ones to build these interfaces. They don't exist yet. You know, I've yet to see that anywhere in the BSC chain, or at least exactly how we're describing it. So we have opportunities that we can capitalize on here, and we have teams that can make it happen. And we're excited for, you know, the new products to launch now, and are more than open to feedback here.
It's another good example of why the DAO is important, right? Because, you know, we can pretty much build anything, but, you know, this is for you guys, right? This is a community driven affair, right? So, you know, we want to be able to get your input, and, you know, it's the difference is, you know, a Telegram poll where anybody can just, you know, make up answers to, where, you know, if you have an actual stake, and you can, you know, prove that by, you know, linking up your wallet and casting your vote, you know, that lends a lot of credibility. Great questions though, guys.
Yeah, some really good questions from the community this time.
Anyone else? Hey, Raul, is any of the Spanish community in here? We're happy to take some translated questions if they're around.
Hola, hello Jake, hello everybody. I'm Raul. I can translate if you want to make some questions. We have here Fernando from Argentina. He speaks English too. Welcome, Fernando. Bienvenido, Fernando.
Hey.
And I don't see anybody from the Spanish group, so
No worries. If they pop in, feel free to let them know. They can chime in.
Yes, if anybody want to make a question, I'm here.
Perfect.
Yeah, it looks like Fernando was asking in the Spanish group whether or not dexDAO is a stable coin. I think he's a little bit confused by that. Just to kind of reiterate, so dexDAO is not going to be a stable coin, even though it does have the caveat where its value shouldn't be able to fall below a certain point. Because it's an algorithmic reserve currency backed by other assets, it's going to just essentially just have that point. So it's not going to be stable. It doesn't have a cap on how high the price can go, but the contract is going to be designed to always make sure that the price is at least $1 US. So in the long run, as rewards are kind of dispensed and the APY comes down over time, it's going to start off probably very high, potentially hundreds of thousands of APY. But over time, these systems with these reserve currencies typically stable out to being something more modest, like 20% over, you know, by the end of 4 years or something like that. At that point, even though it's not going to be a stable coin technically, for all intents and purposes, it's still going to act as a hedge against fiat inflation. And in a way, it kind of will mechanically operate like a stable coin.
Yeah, I guess to expand on that a little bit too, you know, part of the reason for the creation of this token was, you know, to also give a hedge against, you know, bear market conditions, right? I mean, personally, I think there's still a ways to go before we hit anything like that. I don't even know if we're going to see a full-on bear market, you know, like we have in the past, in previous cycles. I think, you know, retail investors are continuing to push the market in. It's becoming more stable. So I don't think we're going to get, like, you know, massive downturns anymore. But part of the inspiration of this was to create something that it can be bought and held as you know, a reserve during those times, right? And it goes the same in a bull market as well. The way that this token will operate, unlike the dexIRA token, there's a finite amount available, right? We minted 1 billion tokens to start. We've currently burned like 165 million of those, right? So, we're left with the remaining balance, and part of those are in investors' wallets. Part of those are in the liquidity pools, but there's never going to be any more dexIRA tokens available, right? That increases that's what makes the price go up in it, right? With the dexDAO token, essentially what's going to happen is the reserve currency that's backed by, right, whatever that price may be, right, if it's above that price level, the protocol, the contract that we're writing is going to mint more tokens, right, which will increase the supply, and in theory keep the price from going up too high, right? Conversely, if it were ever to dip below that price point, the protocol will buy back and burn those tokens, reducing the supply, right? So the idea is that we're basically, the protocol, not us, but the contract will basically handle supply and demand aspect. So in theory, you're not trying to make money on the price of the coin going up. You're trying to make money on the compounding interest, right? By just holding it and getting more of that token. You want it to stay at a stable price, so that you're just always acquiring more of those tokens at a certain price.
It's like extra rewards on the rewards.
Yeah, without a doubt. If you're a nice sizable holder of dexIRA, and we see with the Dex tool banner and everything that Dex as a project sees an increased valuation, and then you're selecting dexDAO as your reward token, it's a good scenario all around. Automatically staking the dexDAO that you collect. Well, I guess it wouldn't be automatic. The dexDAO that you would collect would, unless we do a wrapped staked version of it. Yeah,
That's exactly our conversation over here today.
Yeah. So a wrapped staked version of the dexDAO token would then not need to be staked. It could just be collected automatically from dexIRA and then just automatically grow in your wallet as you collect it.
Yeah, we're going to test the boundaries here for this stuff. We'll be ready.
Any other questions from the community?
Yeah. Sorry. I would like to know how you choose your partner, like Baby Floki and other partner you choose. How did you do you find them, and how do you approve them?
Yeah, that's a great question. We are, we're actively still reaching out to partners. We've found that this is a very good method of like sustainable marketing, right? In theory, we can just put anyone we want on. And if the community, if there's a demand, in the community, if the people want it, we're happy to add tokens. But in terms of mutual partnerships that we're reaching out to, we're looking for a couple things, right? Obviously, the first and foremost, we want good projects, right? Relating back to our whole ethos as a project, right? We're not just going to put crappy tokens on there for you guys to choose, and if we don't think they're going to be more valuable tomorrow in the architect, right? So that's the first, right? I guess along those lines, we typically require that they're at least listed on like CoinMarketCap, CoinGecko. That just lends some kind of credibility. It also assures that there's a certain level of market cap involved, because, like I said, we want good tokens that have real use cases and are going to be more valuable in the future. And then the last thing we're looking for is responsiveness to the partnerships, right? The idea here is, Baby Floki is a great example. They have a great community over there. the leadership and their team is really involved in the project, right? And we respect that, right? They've also been really great in reciprocating. They've told their people about us, and we're getting people from them, and that's really the heart of the partnership, right? Is essentially it behooves both parties to do at least a basic level of promotion, right? Because if we list a token, you guys as a community should know about what that token does, right? So we've done spotlights on each of them, on each of our partners, explaining it. Bogged Finance is another great one, where we have conversations with them all the time, reciprocating. They just released their new swap functionality, and they asked if we could help promote it, and of course we said sure. So and that goes both ways, right? So when we have big announcements and we want to get the word out, we can go back and lean on our partners to kind of spread the word, without having to pay for influencers that don't work even sometimes, and the partners all have like I said, it's mutually beneficial. So the more that they're promoting and telling their community about us, the more if people from Baby Floki come over and they're selecting Baby Floki as a reward currency, the Baby Floki chart is always getting constant little buy orders coming through. So it makes sense for both of us. That's our main objective, is try to find good solid tokens that have a promising future outlook, with active communities that are willing to reciprocate.
To expand on that a little bit, there's a lot of due diligence involved to pick, like you said, the correct projects to work with. You want their members to, continue marketing for us as well. But at the end of the day too, like, just the interface itself needs to have, large cap, mid cap, and low cap tokens. And we need to have a nice diverse array for each one, which means we have to pick, the proper projects across each market cap levels. And, we want to make sure that if we want to offer different, basket and such too for rewards, that, there's a good selection for each category as well.
Sure. Hey, JD, what I guess to speak on partners, Mark has been kind of heading this up for us. When is Mark did a cool a podcast with them, with Starship, was it? When does that come out?
Starship? So it's funny, I actually looked into that last night. They uploaded it onto their YouTube account, but they didn't edit it or anything. It's just this rough video that they uploaded.
Yeah.
So I mean, if anyone's interested, Starship has a podcast, a video podcast called FUD Hour, and I did participate in it. Though I think that if there was a dexIRA podcast, it would be handled a little bit better. Let me put it that way.
Yeah, well, that's a good idea. Maybe we'll maybe ask them for the footage, and we'll do our own cut.
Yeah, maybe actually, or I might just hit them up and see if we can do another shoot with them, anyways. Because there's a lot of things that we could talk about now, especially with the Dex expansion plan.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, agreed.
But yeah, the as far as partnerships go for dexIRA, the name of the game is always to be on the lookout for partners to add to our dashboard as potential reward options. So that's usually what I'm doing in the evenings myself, is I'll be searching and reaching out to some of these projects. Typically when we strike a partnership with them, we're trying to get them to acknowledge and announce the partnership on their end, so that brings a little bit more exposure to our project. And so a lot of my dialogue with these projects is, trying to follow up and get these things going, right?
I think it's also worth noting, getting the first couple where it was well, I actually preface this, we were really happy with the response. it took a little while to get the partnership deck out and kind of get our ideas formulated, but once we got it out, these partners started rolling in. We were really thrilled that we were able to get pretty big names, Bogged and Monster Infinite, and some pretty large names on the first round, and we're looking to expand on that. The more that we get, the kind of the easier it is. In addition, just like building the first pipeline, in terms of a sales, kind of a sales angle, building that pipeline, was the most difficult part. You got to reach out to, 5 times as many, as many as you think, and then, you finally strike a deal with a couple of them. So now that the pipeline's filled and, we have some decent names to, under our belt already, we're really looking forward to the future of that. And moreover, the more that we have, we kind of get everyone in a cycle where, we can go back to each of these guys at different times and say, hey, we got this coming up or this is coming up, so we're not just saturating, a handful of partners with like all of our stuff. You get them in a rotation where we have, 20 or 50 or 100, and once a quarter you can just go and knock on everyone's door, say, hey, this is, we got this coming up, give us a little shout out.
Yes, thank you. I think that what is nice about the partner token, there is not many, and so we can really look into the project, and yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, that's we wanted to be, like I said, if realistically we don't necessarily need anyone's permission. We can put any smart chain contract on there, but we want to keep it exclusive. We want to be like Facebook in the early days, where people, tokens like Baby Floki, they're happy, they're thrilled that there's another token. It's it's almost like you made it. I mean, there's another token where you can earn the Baby Floki rewards. It's an enticing pitch.
Yeah. And as far as learning about those projects go as well, as you can see, I've been posting those partnership spotlights and Medium articles that kind of touch on them a bit. I have some more coming up with some of our recent partnerships that we've announced too. I've been kind of spacing them out every couple days or so, right?
Yeah, great questions.
Yeah. If anyone's got any more questions before we wrap it up.
I got one more small one. So
Sure.
this is a little off topic here, but is there any timeline of when I'll be able to buy a Dex hoodie?
Yeah, that's on the list.
Actually, if you want the admin, if you want to jump on there, we actually have uploaded some designs into the team cloud as well for you to take a look at. We had some people over at the development studio, newer investors in the area here. A lot of it was getting them onto smart chains and stuff. People who invest heavily in crypto, more in stable coins and such, that just are moving into it. And we actually got some feedback at the development studio for clothing designs, and I'll talk with the admin about that. But if you've noticed on some of the video editing work that's come out from the team for like banner ads and such, there's kind of like at the end of some of the bumpers and such, there's like this glitchy version of like the dexIRA logo where it cuts up and comes in. We got some hoodies in the work there, and we can actually talk about some of that stuff off the chat. There is some designs in the work, actually, guys.
Yeah, I have a couple stores already set up, so
yeah,
sounds like we're closer than we think. Yeah, well, I'm gonna try to get those up for you guys this week
before it gets too cold.
Yeah, gotta get those hoodies on now.
Yeah, it's been great. How frequently do you guys plan on doing this?
The AMAs?
Yeah.
We're pretty open to them. I think that we should more getting moving into the development stuff. I think we can make this a more regular thing, definitely. At least a monthly one, if not weekly, I guess.
As long as there's it, sure.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, these next. So I guess to give you guys a little bit of a timeline too. Obviously we have quite a bit of development work to do here. The exact plan's kind of still being formulated, but the launch pad and the token are already underway, and we need to get some of that stuff done a few weeks prior to the launch in order to get audited. But essentially we're looking at like a mid-January launch for all this stuff. The dexPAD maybe a little sooner so that we can start showcasing some of this stuff for the first launch. I guess to answer your question is really, as we're kind of releasing teasers and new products and stuff, we'd love to jump on and talk with you guys about it.
¿Alguna pregunta en español? ¿Alguna pregunta que necesite traducción?
Any takers?
We don't have people from the Spanish.
Maybe we'll do another one just for the Spanish community.
Yes, that would be great. Yes.
Yeah, good. Let's do that. Let's do that then. We'll take that offline, but let's definitely get that scheduled. Maybe the end of the week or something.
Perfect.
Okay. Well, it's coming up on an hour here, guys. We're happy to stick around. If anyone's got questions, if not, we'll be available on the chat always. We're always real active there. And feel free to reach out to myself or any of the team members directly if you got any more in-depth questions. And feel free to keep dropping suggestions or any ideas you have. Like I said, this is kind of the fun part for us. Moving back into development. As Dev kind of mentioned, we're excited about it, and we're looking to push the envelope on some of these things. So we're excited to kind of showcase kind of what we can do again here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Well, you guys have been great. If there's no last questions, we'll maybe wrap it up here, and we'll see you guys on the thread, the main thread.
Yeah, we'll make announcements on the main thread, and as always, the development team is available for you guys to reach out via DM as well.
Thank you for the explanations, and see you in the chats.
All right, guys.
All right. Thanks for coming, everybody. That's awesome. Hopefully, we'll see a lot of you guys in the next AMA and even more.